Alrighty, welcome back in, guys. So today, continuing on, we are going to be working with helping verbs and verb phrases. So working with our verb phrases, a verb phrase is going to be our either two-letter or two-word or greater phrase. That includes our helping verb and then our verb. Can anyone remind me again what a verb is? An action, right? So something that you're doing. So we're going to be working with all tenses of verbs, so none in particular. So we'll be working with all past tense, present tense, and future tense verbs. So the main focus with this isn't the verb itself, it's to add on to that phrase. So adding on to those helping verbs. So today we're going to be talking about our careers, our dream careers, and some of the actions that we would maybe be doing on a day-to-day basis while we're in these jobs. So we are going to take a second and brainstorm. Close your eyes if you want to. Think big, dream big. Think about what your dream career would be. So go ahead, take a moment in your mind, think about what your dream career is. And if you can't think of one, no problem. Go ahead and think of maybe your favorite movie character or your favorite book character. What is their job? Are they a writer? Are they a spy? Are they a traveler? What do they do for their career? So go ahead, take a second. Now that we've got that in our mind, we're going to work on writing a word map of some jobs or some verbs, some actions that we would be doing in that career on a day-to-day basis. So I wrote an example for my own because I'm a teacher here with you all. I love what I do. I love spending time with you guys. So I wrote down some activities that I get to do on a day-to-day basis in my career. So something, it's going to look a little bit like this, your own personal one. So my example here, you're just going to write your career in the middle. Mine is teacher, and then around there you're going to write some verbs, so some actions that you'd be doing in your job. So as a teacher, I listen, I learn, I'm constantly learning from you guys, constantly learning your new perspectives, what is interesting to you, what you've learned in your lives. We all have so much experiences to learn from. So I learn, I speak, I'm here speaking with you all. I like to think about what I'd like to speak about that day, or how it'll impact you, or how it'll impact me. Draw, I drew this for you, and that's about the extent of my drawing talents. And then write, so I write lesson plans, I write papers, I grade things. All these things are different verbs that I do on a day-to-day basis. So you're going to go ahead and take a second thinking about your own personal career and go ahead and write out a word map. Then try to use probably about like 6 or 7 different actions and write out your word map, and we'll come back together in just a moment. Good, so now that you've had a second to write out your word map, we're going to come back together and we're going to get into groups. So forming groups, we're going to, I'm going to letter you off A through E, so we'll get into 5 different groups. You'll be with a group of classmates. Maybe one person will have the same career as you, or maybe none of them will. Maybe you'll all have different careers, which is great. Either scenario is great because you can either learn from someone that's doing the same thing as you, and maybe they wrote down some different actions that you didn't think about, or if it's a different career, you get to learn about a completely new thing and expand your mind and expand on what someone else thinks is interesting for a career. So after I letter you guys off, you'll go ahead and get into your groups. So after you all form your groups, we'll go ahead and get together, and in your groups you are going to have 5 note cards for each of you. So in your group you'll all have note cards, and on there you'll pick a verb from the word map that someone else chose. So say my partner is a teacher and they write, so I'm going to write out a sentence with the word write. That's all I'm gonna have to say. It could be Mrs. Dexter likes to write her own work. So then you'll write down that sentence, you'll give it to that corresponding partner with that corresponding career, and then so on and so forth. And then your partner, who then you give the note card to, will end up with a collection of 5 note cards that all the partners have written for them. 4 cards because you're the 5th person. So you'll have 4 different sentences that people have written for you, and then in there you're going to circle the verb phrase in those sentences. So we'll go ahead, take a moment, write out your 4 sentences for your 4 partners, and then go ahead and give them that note card. After you give them the note card, your partners are going to go ahead and circle the verb phrase, and then we're going to hold on to those note cards because we're going to be using them at the end of class. Great, our next activity, we're going to be working with a bit of technology. So you're going to go ahead and get out your devices. We're going to have a second to implement our own devices. Maybe you have a computer or a phone, something that you can get internet access with. So we're going to be working on expanding some verb phrases. We just did stuff about our careers, and now we're going to expand into different subjects. So we're going to go ahead and use this tool, this activity that I have here. We're going to be completing the table with the words and the phrases in the boxes. So here we have our different verbs. We have like, study, have, live, work, go, drive, do. So all of these are different verbs. And connecting those, we are going to build a verb phrase. So using this for an example, we'll go ahead and use this word bank up at the top. You'll fill in that word bank into the corresponding verbs to create your verb sentences. So for example, we'll choose go. So go is a verb. So which one do we think that we could go to? We could go to coffee, probably to a coffee shop, but it wouldn't make sense to just say go coffee. Which sounds like a rally, go coffee. But instead we want to make that a verb phrase. So instead we say go to. So does any of these word bank statements match up with that phrase go to? Go to a restaurant, right. So going along this, we'll go ahead and use up this word bank, filling in these different answers into making our verb phrases. And after you finish out with this activity, you'll pick one of these verb phrases that you think would maybe match your career or something that you could find yourself doing on a day-to-day basis. And we'll also be using that in correspondence to the note cards that I gave you from your last activity for our final assignment.